then I'm slowly becoming a white girl.
Wait, you slowly
Only
becoming
now
a white
you're
girl?
realizing that?
I was gonna say, it's about time somebody. I mean, we already knew.
I want to start with that, but I'm not
We just
sure
wanted
exactly
to-
when I started the mic, so let's just hope we got most of that.
Yeah. So, as you were saying,
You're a white girl.
you're a white
I'm
girl.
a white
You're
girl.
becoming a white girl.
I'm becoming a white girl.
See, I'm glad we didn't have to tell you. RJ and I were talking.
The saddest
We were
thing
like,
about becoming a white
we might
girl
need
is
to
I'll
talk to
never have the
women.
boobs a white girl has, and that seems like the best
That's-
part about being a girl.
Oh, true. Would you just fondle yourself all day?
Dude, I would probably get arthritis. Just
I'd get
so much
arthritis.
fondling. Hey guys, my chest is raw, but I can't stop.
I can't stop.
I'm going to take it off these glasses. They are annoying.
A little trippy, huh?
Put these right
little
there.
trippy party glasses you got there. Representing our finest here.
Define fitness.
No, it's got you on the front.
Yeah, but it has Define Fitness on the side.
Yeah,
so
you
you
would-
would see how that gets confusing.
I wouldn't.
No,
I
not
wouldn't
at all.
actually. I was looking at RJ's eyes, not his.
Oh,
not
You
his,
can't
little
actually
side
look at
things
eyes.
here.
You can only look at an eye.
if you're far enough away.
My eye, your eye.
Oh.
This is a debate that we had one time. Was one of our friends, Jimmy, brought up the fact that you can only look at one eye at a time.
True.
So you should say you have a, like, I'm looking
You
you in the
have a
eye,
beautiful
or
eye.
I have a beautiful eye.
That's a good point. It's eye of the beholder, not eyes of the beholder.
But those would be my eyes in that case.
Yeah, I know.
In which case I'm looking through
but
both
they
of
still
them.
only reference one eye. Eye before me, except after C. So
That wasn't even correct.
you know that rule. It doesn't even really like.
It's
fit
F before D,
90%
except
of
after
It's
every-
basically I
It's
before
basically
E,
the dumbest,
except for
frickin'
when
rule
we
ever.
want it to be.
Yeah, right. Whoever came up with that,
I don't
was like,
understand language.
We know you have.
Well, we know that you
spelling,
don't know
bro.
grammar.
Yeah, we know that.
Where does grammar not understand me?
I mean, even in your text
Have you heard
to
of
me
spell check?
today saying that I was gay, you used the wrong your. My possessive gay. I don't know what that means.
What do you?
in this
Wait,
case.
he used the wrong your.
Yeah, he
I only
said
You are.
He
Oh, it
said
said Y-O-U-R,
it doesn't matter.
not-
You're still gay, so I apparently possess a still gay, whatever that means. And I'm a little worried.
I thought you were going to start that by saying I spelled gay wrong. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I didn't. See how I just totally threw your whole
Bro,
argument?
last week you asked when we were going somewhere, I can't remember, if we could take one car, and you spelled care as
makes
car,
sense.
and I was like, I replied back, yeah, we could take one car, and it's C-A-R, asterisk. Like,
That's
make
why
sure
you did
didn't
that.
freaking
I
even
was
notice.
like, no, I was
like,
wondering.
your grammar's off, Jordan. Why is there an asterisk? Well, first of all, sir, I don't have one care, but I have a car.
I have many cares in this world.
Yeah.
That would make sense why your text was so weird to
Oh,
my
yeah.
text.
As if yours wasn't weird to me. Okay.
No, I'm saying yours is justified. I just didn't notice.
You didn't
that.
understand? You didn't even notice
A
that
lot
you
of
said
what
care.
it is,
Oh,
you
he
guys.
doesn't notice at all.
Here's what happens. My attention.
I always make fun of them for his
My
grammar.
attention span is not long enough to finish looking at what I'm typing. So I start typing and I look up and I'm still typing and then I just send because I don't have the attention span to like proofread my text messages. Which
Well, I
is
don't
totally
think
on me.
proofreading is going to change some of the grammatical wrong uses of specific words.
I've seen
The incorrect here, the incorrect
There,
your, the
your.
incorrect there.
English was not his first
Now,
language.
what did you get in your English classes, grade-wise?
just curious. Like, I know you read, but like, how much do you read? You came
It's like
prepared.
a magic trick.
Ba-boom!
I'm actually.
White trashiest magic I've ever seen. Pull another one out.
No, I'm joking. That would be really
I
funny.
wish.
I did plan that. I hit it all the way up here just so I
That
could
was
do
impressive.
that
I did
little
not
bit.
see that coming.
Yeah.
Almost
and-
as impressive as your grammar.
So I'm actually really good at reading, but for whatever reason, the grammar I see in reading doesn't transfer over to the grammar I use in my life.
That's okay.
Like run-on sentences are my bitch. Like
that's your thing?
I don't
Oh,
think
for
I've
sure.
ever seen him use punctuation.
Have you seen? Have you ever?
Other than maybe a question mark.
Dylan, did you
Probably
ever
an
have,
exclamation.
like, ever, RJ, like, proofread a paper that you wrote or anything like
I had
that?
him
Yes.
proofread a tattoo and they still misspelled it.
They didn't actually misspell it. You just used the entirely wrong
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
Like you did in that text the other day about the car.
See, that's the thing too. With
like,
that
what?
tattoo, like now, I ever since that had happened, I was like, did I really just not notice that, or
Bro,
was the
I
one that he showed us different?
Oh, shit.
And that's the story I'm going.
I saw
with.
it on Instagram, And I loved the actual tattoo. The artwork, I think, is fantastic.
Before
I
we
ripped
finish
his
it-
so much
dude.
about how, like, it was, like, the wrong word, and he was like, no, it's just how it's supposed to go. It's how they did the R. And I was like, bro, that does not look like any other of the same R's in that same tattoo. So much so that he actually had to pull it off his social media. I felt bad about that, but...
Oh, that's because I got not only from
That's
you,
because
but
everyone was agreeing with me. We all knew.
Everyone else tore me a butthole, and I was like, "Fuck, they're right." And I didn't know how to deal with my emotion.
But you did correct it nicely.
It looks
Shout out
good
to
now.
Oscar.
It's
Oscar
for
did
free,
some
so
great
it didn't
work.
cost
No,
any
no.
money.
Yeah,
but just so
And
you know,
now my conscience is clear.
yeah, because apparently
It's actually a way cooler
proofread that?
tattoo.
You just didn't realize, huh?
Sure, proofread. I feel like I did, but apparently I didn't.
You know what Dylan was saying?
Which basically
He was
means I'll
like,
never get asked to go on.
when they do the initial stencil or the imprint and then they trace the tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
You were like, no, it was right on that, and I was like, no, it still wasn't right. It was still wrong.
I feel like it really was because I mean, my memory's shit anyway, and I didn't take a picture of the paper.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, dude, because I
Wasn't it like thou? Use thou.
It should have been. It should have been
through.
though, and it was through. Is what
That's
it said.
right.
I
Yeah.
threw in a fucking R.
Yeah, and then you were like, no, dude, that looks.
Which
like
doesn't
R.
make sense if you think of it. This dude's kind of a dumbass.
Well, and it's one of
He
those
could
like,
do words straight like no one's business, but he
Yeah.
just doesn't know how to fucking spell.
Well, the thing is, though, with that instance, though, it's like the word wasn't spelled wrong. It was just the wrong word there.
Which, in actually,
But
for
if you
me,
read it out, if you actually read it out, you're like, that doesn't sound right. It doesn't seem
Exactly.
right. Which is exactly what I
Which
did.
I got really
Poor
lucky
grammar.
since it was so close to the word I needed and it wasn't spelled wrong. I was able.
it wasn't
I-
one of those
correct it.
like no
no
regrets or
regrets.
whatever.
Yeah, like I was able to pretty much. In which you look at it now, you would never be.
No,
able
that's
to
true.
really tell.
No, and I think it's amazing what you got.
So-
that one. I like the design you had, and
But
you had
yeah.
that idea in mind even after a year. A little.
I had that
mess
idea
up.
actually before the mess up, and then
Okay.
the mess up just made me really
Know
just,
that you had to go
Yeah,
with
no, I had to go that route. So
There's it brings another question. Is like, there's so many talented tattoo artists out there, but it makes you wonder, like, every now and then, because there's always those horror stories you hear. Wow, some word is misspelled or out of place, like in your case, but even more egregiously. And it's like, do these guys even know how to
Or do
spell
they just
correctly,
go?
or they
Maybe
just-
that's what they wanted.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Well, I
but
mean,
then you would think they would like, hey,
it's-
are you sure?
It's
want
always
this?
funny to see like those compilations of the 15 worst tattoos or whatever, and it'll be like, oh, here's the picture they were trying to reference, and here's what it looks like. Ugh.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I don't have one yet.
sure, like I mean, Oscar, my actual tattoo artist, not the one that did that. He's never messed up on.
Yeah, no, he corrected that.
He corrected.
But it
made
looks
look
so cool,
amazing.
man.
Yeah. So I mean, Oscar, I feel like you just gotta find a good tattoo artist, and you just gotta be clear. Like this one, I had like
I'll give you an ink pen tattoo.
yeah.
I don't know how to do it, but
What's
I've
an
seen
ink pen? Oh, just like
like the
actual
prison
pen?
tattoo.
Prison
gosh.
tats.
where they use like the pen from an ink to like
Oh yeah, I heard
ink
about
from
that.
a pen, not the pen from an ink.
Man, there's some crazy stories about how
Tyler
they even
Dillon
do
now.
that. Because I've heard stories like they melt rubber to create the ink, and then they piss in it to keep it
Well,
like sterile.
Some of the
to a degree.
original tattoos back in the day, like done by like
I mean, I don't know. I'm just
before
speculating.
we were really civilized, people would literally get like do cuts and put dirt and stuff in it, and like
That's gross.
like
It's
they
probably
would like kind of
not
grind up
great for
plants and stuff and put them in there, and then let it heal over, and that's like how the original like tribal tattoos were
insane.
done.
Yeah, but back then they also like
Shit in holes.
pierced this and like
They
this.
had
and-
the like stretch.
Oh yeah, and then like some babies, they would even like wrap their skull
Their
in.
heads.
Yeah, like some of the stuff they did back then was kind of out there.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying I'm gonna go and be like, I want to be an original human being and give me an old school tattoo and just cut me up and throw some dirt in there.
Like that. Yeah. No,
I do like the Hawaiian tattoos though, where it's. Have you seen those?
No,
what it
tell me.
is it's kind of like a stick. It has a needle on it, and they have a hammer, and they like tap.
Oh, it's
it
like
and it
pointillism
bounces.
almost. All the
Yeah,
way
and
over
it
your-
bounces, so they put it ink and they and it just bounces, so it goes a lot slower.
I'll bet.
But it's like that how they
A 3-hour tattoo now takes an 18-hour shift.
Yeah, and it's a lot more intense than the little gun.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be cool to get one of those, but I don't
Maybe
know.
just a
like-
smiley face.
Yeah, like something real small.
It still took 4 hours.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, I have seen some It's terrible. Again, I was lucky with mine, and it turned out okay. But there are some.
Yeah, there's just some out there, or even some of these reactions they get. Like, I would never get a henna tattoo, even though that's like the not permanent kind of safe one. But some of the reactions I've seen, like online, from people getting henna tattoos, it's almost permanent in like the scarring based on reactions, whether they have that with their skin or something they use. Like, it looks almost worse.
One note I don't
just
get
getting
is
a real one.
People get like, I had a girl in my class had a bottle of Gorilla Glue tattooed on her forearm.
What?
Yeah.
Like
Which
what?
Like Gorilla Glue.
It's like that Gorilla Glue better have kept your insides together.
That's like that Gorilla Glue better have saved your child's life. Or
talk about a brand ambassador.
Like, and for me, like, even like I'm a nerdy.
Rent out your skin for advertisement.
There you go. But see, like, I'm even like I'm a nerdy dude, but I don't know if I would get like.
Did she lose a bet? She had to have lost a bet or something. Gorilla Glue?
It's dumb.
Unless if it literally saved your life in some capacity. I don't see any purpose in getting that. But then, there's a lot of crazy stuff out there. A lot of crazy tattoos out there.
You know the craziest tattoo? Glowing letters on the inside of it. Like in Black Panther. Tied it around.
Man, I was going a whole different route.
So that's what Miley Cyrus was trying to go for.
Yeah. Did she have a tattoo right here?
Yeah, no, I remember seeing back in the day. She tried to get a tattoo in here. Definitely wasn't Wakanda level. She obviously did not get it from the source.
No.
So, speaking of Black Panther,
it's now been out for like 2 weeks.
Week and a half.
But I'm going to say spoiler.
We all saw it like,
opening night, I think. Right?
You guys saw it opening night too, right?
Yeah, we saw it before you did.
Okay, well.
How dare you?
I didn't have to pay for my ticket.
Oh, nice. We got a Wakanda coin. I got a vibranium Wakanda coin.
Yeah.
That's actually cool.
Yeah, I'll have to show you later.
I'm not going to show you mine because then you'll steal it.
It was like,
sure it's real vibranium?
Yeah, it says made in Wakanda on the bottom. So.
No, they don't lie. They couldn't lie. So yeah, let's talk about it. Yeah, the movie's not gonna lie. Sokovia is also real.
Yeah, dude. Where have you been?
Next, you can tell me New York's not real.
Yeah,
so.
bro.
I mean,
and then like that freaking thing out there.
it's like Tupac.
What?
They exist.
Why are you bringing Tupac into this again?
Just because I felt like I had to. It's been a while.
Sorry. It has been a while. I thought we were past this.
So yes, Black Panther.
T'Challa.
And I know we didn't do anything last week because the two of us were out of town.
That's okay.
Was out of town.
In Colorado.
How was Durango? Pretty nice.
It was pretty good.
Did you see snow?
We
Did
got
you
some
actually see
snow.
snow?
The car behind us saw a wolf.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we left earlier than there were other groups because we were the ones pulling the trailer. And it was just starting. Tons of snow was coming down by that point. But I guess, one of the other vans got stuck trying to go up this one hill. Which, if we didn't get stuck with the trailer, I'm not sure what they were doing. So then the one behind it, they had a guy get out and get ready to push. It was one of the kids, like 15 years old, but he's like 6'4".
Was that Everett?
Yeah,
Everett.
And he's getting ready to push, and this wolf like runs between him and the van.
Oh my god!
And then they just they call Everett and they're like, "Dude, a wolf just went by you," and he's like, "What?" And like.
No, how would he even not
Everett
notice?
Saw it.
I was gonna say, how would he not
Everett saw it.
Oh, did he? Oh, Preston said he didn't. But still, wouldn't you be scared if a wolf just
Yeah, but if it was just one, I'd feel a little okay. If it was a pack, because normally they're in packs. And
I don't feel like I could take one wolf, dude.
No. I'm not saying I could. I'm just saying,
it's less.
Your odds are better.
Yes. But that's pretty cool. That's kind of intense.
Yeah.
But so we got off track.
Sorry.
That's why
That's why we're just now addressing the greatest film that has ever been released in February.
Or was it?
We'll debate. But it is the highest opening grossing film ever for a February release. So there's that.
What is
let's
quickly go.
Deadpool. Be Deadpool.
Off of
be Deadpool's numbers.
Because one of the things I saw after the 4-day weekend,
right?
Because it did have a holiday.
Yeah.
And that does come into play with one of these.
True.
It was I saw a list of things that it had beat already, because I think it was opening weekend it had made $230 million.
Was that including the 4-day?
That was including the 4.
Okay, yeah, I think it was 230.
It beat the entire domestic run of Justice League.
Well, that's not exactly.
Which I also saw on Saturday, and it is awful. We can talk about that later.
Really? You saw Justice League?
Where?
where?
I went to the Dollar
Who paid
Theater.
you? Who paid you?
Dude, yeah, I paid money for that.
Unfortunately, yes.
I'm kidding.
Who'd you go with?
See Joe
Oh.
while he was in town.
Is he not in town right now?
No, he's not in town again. He left again
Oh,
for like
wow.
another 2 weeks.
Nice.
It actually beat the first 4 days of Avengers, and that's why that holiday does matter, because they said in terms of pacing, it's not going to probably beat Avengers, but opening weekend having that extra holiday did manage to get it a little bit over Avengers opening 4 days.
Okay.
Fair.
I'm trying to remember it. One thing that they were like talking about is Sony back in like 1998 had the chance to buy the rights for like Thor, Iron Man, Black Panther, and I think maybe Captain America for like $28 million, and they said no.
They were like, nah.
Boy,
they regret.
And then Black Panther I think was about $2 million production cost, so it's already made up in 4 days.
Well, I would say,
Boy, they were.
I mean, they would have never made as good of a movie.
Oh no, Sony
no.
would have screwed it up just like Fantastic Four and everything else.
Hey man, how about Human Torch is like revamping a career after they
Yeah, the
ditched that
second Human
frickin'
Torch to
franchise?
come over.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's true. Maybe that's where the success is. Every Human Torch that Sony does
It's just gonna.
Well, but there's not
He's
going to
gonna
be any.
suck his Human Torch. Well, not even suck,
hopefully
but
there's
like
not
that
gonna be
movie will
another one.
suck, and then they'll just bomb the next one really good.
Yeah.
And by bombing, I mean like just set the bar. You know what I mean?
It was good, and I so getting into the actual movie, I knew going into this movie.
Yeah, let's talk
it was
about
gonna
likes, dislikes, and
Yeah, so
just get
I
into
knew
it.
going into this movie it was a different feel.
I was hyping it up.
Yeah, I had kind of read some reviews, listened to people on the radio who had seen it before and talked about it. So
Well, yeah, we were talking about it was 91% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it actually ended up at 97.
Oh, did it go up?
Actually, here's the thing. It did end up as the highest rated superhero movie of all time.
Interesting. Well, and a lot of people are saying it's the best
In the MCU.
Well, they're saying it's just the best in general.
Which I disagree, but I
agree with your disagreement, but we'll get to that.
So, and I will say, it was good. I liked it. I loved it. Now, I think Thor Ragnarok is still my number one.
like, okay, so I don't disagree necessarily, but I'm trying to understand where you come from. So, in terms
It's
of
a different movie.
no, well, these are all different movies, but in the MCU, you would rate Thor Ragnarok as your number one above all other MCU films, or just
I still might have to go back to the original Iron Man, honestly. That's one of my favorites.
Really,
I'm with you.
and here's I think
Or
what,
Civil War is really good, too.
here's why I have a
Even
problem.
Winter Soldier, I really like.
They're so good. I don't know, dude. Thor Ragnarok, I really because
So you think
I would have said it was Guardians of the Galaxy, but I think Thor Ragnarok is better than Guardians of the Galaxy for me personally. But I'm more of a comical kind of person, and I think what I like about Ragnarok is how they kind of turned
Integrated
two
comedy.
shit stories from 1 and 2, and they made like a really good storyline and a really funny movie that was funny, serious, and had a good plot. Like, so it did, and so but I will say like
okay, as an origin film though, how would you
so I would say as an origin film, number one.
over Iron Man?
I would say it's
Over Iron Wow.
better because I don't know, for me, and this is kind of hard on Iron Man, but it's like Iron Man came out so long ago, and they didn't have
10 years.
I know,
Something
10 years, but they didn't have the access to kind of the stuff that Black Panther
I
did
feel
now.
like they didn't need it for Iron Man.
I agree.
But that's what I'm saying. Black Panther just blew away. Like, I loved, and for me, I guess I kind of looked at Black Panther. I think it came in at the right time because Black Panther was very much about like, it had a different overall tone. Because it was about accepting and using resources to
Almost
help.
feels like a character piece to me. Like
Exactly.
It
It doesn't revolve around his
to me-
power.
I think to me, it didn't necessarily feel like an origin story. And maybe that's because we have seen the character before and he already had the powers. It wasn't like
True.
this is him first discovering his powers as the Black Panther. It's like,
maybe that's what
I liked
to
about
aid
it.
the
Had
film
that-
a bit.
so I guess I just like didn't necessarily see it as an origin film as a result of that.
Right, yeah. I get your argument.
Yeah, and I think like what was different. It's just like I look at Iron Man, and it was Iron Man. It's all revolved around Iron Man, like him, his struggles, kind of using his stuff to like pretty much going through a traumatic experience, realizing he wanted to help, but it's still kind of in a selfish more way. In Black Panther, it was very much more like we've had this stuff for years. We've had this technology, and it was more like we have these long traditions. Are you willing to break our traditions to help the world. And so I guess
that is the struggle.
Yeah, and I look at the tone of the movie and the story it's telling, because it's not necessarily revolving around his power. Like you said, he already had his power, we already see it, and it's not revolving around he can do this cool shit. It's more revolving around the tradition of his people and him wanting to break it and figuring out how to do that and to pretty much come out and help the world become a better place. And I think that's why I would rate it as the number one origin story.
Okay.
Just because for me, and this could be just the time and era of the world we're in right now. I feel like it kind of hit home to me a little bit just because how shitty the world is right now. And this is...
Yeah, imagine if Wakanda was great.
Oh. Yeah, exactly. And so I really like the message it was portraying, to where Tony Stark is kind of portraying, like, kind of a billionaire and this shit. What next can I do? Like, I go through a traumatic experience and I want to do...
That brings an interesting point, too, just in the sense that, like, T'Challa is going through this, like, kind of idea that, you know, maybe I want to help the world, but maybe I'm not ready to unleash fully the technology of Wakanda. While Tony Stark kind of deals with the same thing, but for him, it's like, I'm not going to produce any more weapons. So then how am I helping the world? You know what I mean? So there's definitely a conflict there, but it's a little different.
Absolutely. And so I don't know, I just, like I said, I feel like this movie had a little bit more than Iron Man did. Granted, it's so hard because Iron Man was the foundation of everything. You know,
that started.
And I'm not saying I don't like Iron Man. Iron Man's top, 3 for me. I just feel like this one came in. I think this movie came out at the right time.
Well, yeah. So we, like I said, there's been a lot of people saying that it's the best standalone. It's the best superhero film.
Yeah, there's a lot of praise for it.
A lot of best being thrown out there, but I've seen a lot of people say that Killmonger is the best villain.
I want to touch on that too.
We'll talk about it. So I guess, like, just to kind of give like a overall thought for me was I really did like the movie, and it was definitely up there.
Up there in ranking,
but in my opinion, it doesn't even break my top 3.
Top 5.
What is your top 3? Just out of curiosity.
Iron Man. Probably Civil War. I feel like I need to re-watch Ragnarok to make sure that I for sure agree with this, but I would say Ragnarok.
When does that come out on DVD?
It's got to be soon, because
typically after a movie release, it's like 4 months after.
Last Jedi is coming out in March.
Yeah, but Ragnarok was released in November, so that's
so it should be coming out.
If it's not already out, it could be.
No, it's. I
don't think it's quite out.
No, I would.
Well, but Justice League came out in November too, and it's almost.
Yeah, but Justice League's.
Yeah. Well, so those are probably my top 3. Guardians is probably up there somewhere. Like I said, I don't know like my full list. Maybe
one of these days we'll do a ranking of our like MCU,
but so like I don't know exactly where this falls in.
I'm kind of with you about that ranking.
So my opinion, like I said, it was a good movie, but a lot of people are saying like, oh, it's the best one. It's like I just don't agree with that, and I feel like because I'm a white male, people are going to see me saying that. Like, oh, what are you, racist, huh?
Freaking hater.
And that's not the case. I know. There was a lot of parts that I thought that they did really well. I agree that Killmonger had good motivation for wanting to do stuff. But I feel like there's a certain point in the movie where he goes from great villain to just kind of like, oh, now he's just a regular villain again. We can talk about that later.
Ooh, we have some points. Got some beef.
And just in general, yeah, it felt that there was as unique in a lot of senses as it was. There was still a lot of cookie cutter plot points to me, where it's just like, oh, they mentioned the vibranium dampener things. Obviously, they're going to use that to beat them. Like, just there was like some of those like exposition that they have to work in, but it's just one of those like you couldn't come up with a less clunky way to get that in there
for sure.
Like
I think RJ judges things way more like
no, I'm just saying
than I ever look at.
I'm not saying it's bad. I get it.
But that's everybody has their own
things
absolutely that they look at.
No, I'm saying I totally understand it. I just say like I normally don't see those.
We can all represent different.
That being said, I think that this probably had the coolest soundtrack out of any of the MC. I really liked
which I remember you complaining, you're like, Kendrick Lamar, why is he doing this? Like that doesn't, and then like we had that conversation. It's like, yeah, but I feel
did he actually go and compose the ones that
He was a major force in this whole album. From what I understood. Because, I don't know if he composed.
So here's the thing: is when I looked
up
up Black Panther soundtrack, I came up with 2 different soundtrack like CDs. One it said
was it
something
the
with
score
Kendrick,
mainly,
where he had created the thing, and then there was like the score, and I didn't
Okay.
see his name attached to that.
No. I don't think he did anything.
And the score is what I'm talking about. I don't necessarily care about the rap songs or whatever he chose. To me, it was like the way that they worked and like the African like tribal like that kind of music and took it into this like I don't even want to say necessarily like modern's probably not the right word, but they like mixed it into what we're more used to in terms of like the
so
score.
it's almost like contemporary and then bringing it all around.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
But it does. The existence of Wakanda does bring up a lot of questions with world history. If we're gonna go into
well, this is all fictional.
Yeah,
so.
but I mean, again, and the whole big plot point is, well, we've always kind of stuck to ourselves. But it's like, at what point would Wakanda have ever got involved? Like, you just decided that World War I and II weren't important.
That's a very good point. Like what?
And
at what
exactly
point do you
what
intervene? At what point do you
But
try?
at what point would they have
if the world all around Wakanda is about to go
Cold War, if there ever were
like
nukes flying, would they have ever done anything?
That's a good question.
Well, maybe
Questions
Wakanda
for
will pin
later.
it.
Would you like to do your overview?
Yeah.
real quick?
So I really enjoyed the film. I liked it.
So you had a huge hype.
I did. I did.
Hype. That's what I want to know.
I want to say, okay, so I don't think it
racist.
No, I'm black on the inside.
Oh,
So no, just joking.
His wife
That's
said
a
it.
joke. Yeah, that's an inside joke. We'll talk about that. Anyway, I really enjoyed the film. I did hype it up a bunch because of what I was hearing and what kind of how I fell in love with the trailer and what they could exploit. I wouldn't say it over-delivered or under-delivered. I think it was right around par for me. In terms of ranking, I wouldn't say it's the best film in the MCU for like a superhero. It's definitely up there though. I would say probably top 5. I don't know if it's top 3 or not for me. But what I loved about this most, and we'll get into this a bit, is the villain.
Well, Michael B. Jordan's been your boy.
He's my
for
boy.
Years.
But I also understand what RJ said. Like, he's a badass villain, but then there's a point where it kind of feels like it just evens out a little bit for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So I really loved Michael B. Jordan as a villain. I think he absolutely killed it. And the whole cast killed it. Even the chemistry with his sister, Shuri.
Oh,
and,
great.
the general, whose name I don't remember, she was good though.
Yeah, no.
She's from The Walking Dead.
Okay.
It's Michonne.
Michonne.
Oh,
Right?
is that really Michonne? Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Shows you
absolutely.
how much I paid attention to that terrible show that's still going on.
Yeah, I don't
somehow.
watch that show anymore. We've had beef.
Yeah.
But no,
I mean, honestly, to go continue with the act, I thought Andy Serkis was doing a really good
Oh,
job.
yeah.
I'm
Did
actually
you hear
very
that joke,
disappointed
though?
that they killed him so quickly.
Did you hear that joke
Spoiler.
about Andy Serkis and Martin Freeman?
Being the Tolkien white guys.
The Tolkien white guys, Gollum and freaking Bilbo. I think that was hilarious. I think both of those guys really did well.
I think it's...
And yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that they killed them off. So
I
soon, but
understand
guess it's
why
he was
they
kind of
killed
like
him,
a step. Well, yeah. The way I viewed it is he was kind of a stepping stone towards
For
Michael.
Killmonger.
Exactly.
And I think it, like... Again, it was kind of like, oh, you expected more, but I don't necessarily disagree when and how they killed him. I felt like...
No, it made sense
good
for the story,
work.
but I thought that he was doing
for
a
sure.
good job as.
For sure.
He was kind of like that borderline crazy,
He was
but
almost
also
the
like
catalyst
smart.
for the whole
and-
thing.
Dude,
Yeah.
that dude had some funny-ass lines. Just like...
That was another thing I enjoyed. Is
Yeah.
like the humor. You know,
They
it's a
did
very
throw
serious
humor.
film, but the way they intertwined the humor, I think, worked. And what I think I liked most is moving forward. The technology that Wakanda possesses kind of makes
And
Tony
we'll
Stark's
see how they
shit look
decide to-
obsolete.
Well, so okay, here we
But
go.
then expanding on that point, like the possibilities now for the MCU with just Black Panther alone are there.
Which kind of makes sense why they waited this long to bring back Black Panther.
Yeah,
and
but
now
what
that
were
we
you
look-
gonna?
Well, so we were just mentioning how their technology almost makes Tony Stark seem obsolete,
obsolete,
but
right.
at the same time, this was one of my complaints with the film was you are claiming that Wakanda is basically the most technologically advanced place in the world,
Sure.
which in a lot of ways it is, and yet they're still fighting with spears.
Well, I think
There's not the only guns that we see are their ships.
Well, and she even says she's like using guns, that primitive stuff, because their spears aren't
how
just normal
primitive
spears.
though compared to a spear?
Because their spears have different stuff too, though.
Yeah,
I don't. Their spears aren't like. So if I were to go with a regular gun, yes, there's the guys with the shields who could probably stop me. But how? I just won't let them get near me, I guess.
So think about a Jedi. A Jedi uses a lightsaber, which is essentially a sword.
Oh, how dare you!
Yeah, they have the
dare you.
Force.
Nope, I'm not. Yeah, no, that does not count.
That's not even close.
That's not even. No.
But for Black Panther himself, I would say
that's what
because he's got
I'm
the
mainly
fast
highlighting his suit, like the idea behind his suit.
And I'm
and how
not
it
saying that they're
energy
not advanced. I just felt like that was one of those weird mixes of still trying to be like tribal, but also super advanced.
Absolutely,
it just felt a little weird. It's like if you really are the most advanced thing, why are we still, even if they are a little like special of this shield will never break or whatever, it's like why are we still in what we would look at as a whole and consider primitive weapons?
Well, because I think like, look, if you had, you're not going to make bullets out of,
you don't have to make them out of that
material, but it's like, then what? So you just have all these, you have all these guns made out of this super rare metal. Like it doesn't make sense.
Andy Serkis had a gun made out of or his hand was
dude, did you see that? That was pretty badass.
I guess I just don't, for like when people have guns made out of the metal doesn't make sense to me.
Why?
Because I guess guns are obsolete in the sense that they're the easiest known weapon.
Yeah.
So, but beyond that, they are extremely effective. So I mean,
but it's like vibranium doesn't help your gun be better.
Maybe, dude.
How?
I don't even know how to explain vibranium. Did you see the tunnel at the end?
His hand was a gun that like blew stuff.
Yeah, dude. That was probably more powerful than a gun.
We're not talking about vibranium bullets.
Yes. Okay, fair enough.
But the technology in general, I think, is what can expand.
So that actually brings to a point.
Okay, fair enough.
Basically, vibranium itself seems to be a living metal, is the way I would describe it. And
yeah, because they
I have no idea.
And this is something we talk about, is like, how do they specify the use of the tech? It seems so widespread.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, so I think this is my interpretation of it. Because one thing I was a little disappointed that we did not see the final Infinity Stone still. But I think we also kind of did.
Ooh.
So,
you have a theory?
So my theory is, that meteorite, it was big, but it was definitely not that entire mountain.
Okay.
And it seemed that entire mountain was vibranium. So I think that the Infinity Stone was in the meteorite, and it is basically changing the stuff around it into vibranium, right? Because when they're talking about the backstory, they say like the meteorite struck and it it kind of went into it permeated, all the area, and I think that's what it's done is it's taken regular rock and the power of, I believe it's the Soul Stone's the only one we haven't seen, right? It's kind of like permeated that and changed it into vibranium. That's why there is so much there, is because the Infinity Stone is somewhere in
that
there.
Makes sense too in the trailer that we see, how you see like the Wakandan fighters with Captain America kind of looking like they're in Wakanda. It would make sense that Thanos would go to Wakanda looking for that.
That I like that theory better than another one I heard, which was somehow that stone would be in that plant that gave
I'm sure it's probably how the plant was grown or whatever.
Yeah, and if that plant is like fueled by the vibranium in the soil or however you want to explain
when they burned all the plants, I thought instead of
that was a very interesting
one person
choice
picking
too,
it, I just honestly thought he was going to have to go to the source, which was going to be the stone at the end.
Oh shoot! Wow, yeah.
And again, if it is the Soul Stone, which I'm pretty sure it is, that explains how he can still be communing with like his ancestors and stuff, because they're like the stone is what's giving them that power.
Interconnecting it all. Kind of.
So you're saying it's still not a bust on the Soul Stone being in Wakanda?
Correct.
Yeah,
That's
what
I'm saying.
But actually, I hadn't actually looked into that or heard anything.
There was an article I favorited, like through MovieWeb or something on Twitter, that I actually did not read yet, which I'm ashamed of. But it was about why they didn't feature the Soul Stone in the movie, and I expected that we would see something, but it didn't bother me that we didn't.
Yeah,
and it could, again, like you said, could be revealed, and
it's it has to be at some point. But I mean, it very well could.
Or
be.
Maybe Thanos doesn't even know who that fucker is, and we never find.
I really like his theory, though.
No, I do too, and I hadn't thought about it.
Again, to me, that's just how you explain that this is such a common metal to all of them that they talk about like weaving it into their clothes.
And
basically.
Which it makes it. That's another technological thing I don't understand with the capability of vibranium.
Yeah, Andy Serkis even says like they have all this vibranium and they've hardly done a dent in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you see everything they've done. They're weaving it in their clothes, all this stuff they built.
Their ships, their
hardly
weapons,
have a dent in it,
Yeah, because I think it's like constantly changing everything around.
Yeah.
So, that being said, I'm gonna say my biggest problem with this film.
Let's hear.
I did not like the final battle scene and how the bad guy died. I didn't think it, like, lived up to, like, an epic... That part seemed very forced to me, and just, like, how you had said, like, how they're gonna use the stuff. I didn't like... I feel like Michael B. Jordan deserved a more epic death instead of them just fighting and him using a certain moment to stab him.
Well,
and then, like,
so question it, how would you have killed him then?
Like, I don't know.
Given what we know about the world, obviously.
Yeah, I don't feel like... It's kind of one of those things. I don't feel like Black Panther was necessarily stronger. Like,
but that's the thing, though. I get exactly what you're saying, and this will touch on how I view the villain and his arc. They're equals at that point. I mean, I think we can agree upon that. But, I don't know how you want it. Strategically, like, when they're in that underground tunnel, he's purposefully there because the vibranium will interfere with his armor. And that's when he kind of uses his opportunity to stab Killmonger. And that's what defeats him.
Yeah,
so
no,
I get how that feels a little cheap,
but it feels just a little forced to me. Like, I don't know. I feel like this too. I feel like this villain was built up really big, and I was just expecting a more epic death.
So I want to hear what you guys have to say about how you would rank him as a villain. For me, I loved it. I thought he was an amazing villain. He would probably be a top 3 villain in the MCU for me, to be honest. Going to what RJ said, kind of like about how you were critiquing him earlier, and we'll get your opinion on this in a second. For me, I thought before he took down T'Challa to actually gain the Black Panther status, I thought his arc was great. You actually understood his beef and his criticism as to why he deserves to be the Black Panther. You almost empathize with that character for a bit, which I think helps make him a better villain.
Absolutely.
For me, though, almost when he attains that status, it's kind of where it peels off and evens out a little bit. Like, he didn't become a greater villain at that point. He kind of, like, petered off a little bit for me.
Yeah,
no, I agree.
That's exactly what I agree with. I think that he had the very good build-up and very good reason to... Like you said, you kind of... Almost, you're like, well, is he?
Like
he's right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that, like you said, once he takes over, that is where he became a very cookie cutter villain of just suddenly it was, we're gonna conquer
Yeah, and
the
that's
world.
another thing I didn't understand. This is probably one of my main criticisms is, like, when he gets there, I don't understand why he would then, like, this is yours, essentially. Assuming T'Challa's dead, this is all yours. Why would you then burn down all those plants? You know what I mean? Like, if that's what's supposed to give you wisdom and power, then
I really hate the explanation they give for it too.
Yeah.
Is you see the CIA agent go and he's like, oh, this is typical. Like, he sees that and he takes it away so no one else can have it.
No, but that's his.
Yeah, I know.
Why would you then destroy it?
Because that was the explanation the movie gave.
No,
I
get it.
And I thought,
I didn't understand.
Yeah, I thought that was a very stupid explanation because all these guys are so ritualistic that they're not going to go
and you think, like, giving
like,
his circumstance, his history.
Yeah.
He wouldn't necessarily want to do that.
I agree.
I mean, that kind of made him turn more into, like, a dictator.
Because I would have, I would have really liked
I'm going to tear it all down while it's mine.
Absolutely.
Like,
I would have liked to see him...
Which not to say that that's surprising.
That could have been his motivation. I'm just saying...
No, I would have liked to see him become a villain with the same goal that we knew he had, but then kind of accept the culture a little bit too, and then say, okay, I'm going to keep this culture, but then we're going to... I would have liked that a little more.
I think that battle between him and
burning
T'Challa
everything
is
down.
Entirely badass. When he's calling him out like, this is your king.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I agree with that. The original...
But after that, after he got there, it leveled out a little. But I still think he's up there.
And, like, I'm not trying to say that I could have come up with a better plot point from that, like, after it became king, but it was just one of those where then, like I said, how many other...
Like, what's his motivation?
How many other villains have tried to conquer the world by, subjugating them through superior force, or, just having better weapon or alien technology if you're like Loki in that case, or whatever it is. It's like, you're just basically back with everybody else suddenly.
Even we see the Avengers, like, the last minute, like, there's a nuke coming out, I gotta get rid of it, clear a path. This is kind of the same thing when you see, it's like, okay, you got these ships going out, you gotta stop them before they get there. So it's kind of, it falls into that same plot line almost.
Yeah. Well, and that's actually another kind of thing I had, a problem I had with this was, I feel like they set Martin Freeman up to sacrifice his life, and then he was just fine. Like, not that I like him as an actor, but it felt kind of almost like the payoff would have been better if, oh, I got it as, like, I watched the glass shatter and the shots are coming and I, like, managed to get that last shot off. Whereas, it felt like it just kind of fell flat because it was, okay, got it, and then walk away.
Yeah, like, I don't think I minded that as much, but I also don't like people dying that I like, so I think that's more of a personal thing. But, no, I mean, I could see how it added to the story, but personally I'm happy he didn't, because I want to see him further.
Well, I think they said that he's gonna be in the MCU in some manner still.
Yeah.
So, let's see if you guys know, because I'm pretty sure his last name was Ross. Is he supposed to be related to General Ross? Do we know? I always forgot to look that up.
Actually,
I don't know. I'm not for sure. I mean,
that's very curious, though.
And I don't know what way he would be, because we know from the Hulk story that obviously General Ross has a daughter, but that was who.
He'd have to be
Hulk
like a brother or somebody? Or? I don't know.
Well, General Ross was in Civil War, too.
Yeah, but it's the same General Ross.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I'm saying we know he has a daughter. I don't know that he has anything else.
Yeah, no, I guess what I was getting at is they were both in Civil War, and you saw no kind of connection.
Do they ever actually interact with each other?
No, but you would feel there would be something like, I'll call my brother.
I just feel like in Marvel, if they have the same name, typically there's a reason. Like, they've gone so far as... Which brings me another point. I think it's like one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents has a picture of his dad who was like, or grandfather or whatever, was on Steve Rogers' like squad or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like one of those Easter eggs.
I love the Easter eggs. I was watching a video today. It was Black Panther. Apparently there was like a shot of in the background of like Steve Rogers with the beard.
Really?
Yeah, when they're interrogating Andy Serkis's character with Martin Freeman in the room. And T'Challa and his sister are watching him, or not the sister, but the general. There's in the background.
And that does bring up a lot of questions that I had too. With we saw Bucky in the
and that's what I want to touch on real quick too.
But where was Captain America? Because we know that for sure from the Infinity War trailer, he is in Wakanda.
Yeah.
What was he doing during this specific time?
They have to tie that in. Yeah.
It might have just been something simple like Bucky. They were not in the capital itself. They were somewhere else. But you think that they would have come to help when they hear T'Challa gets killed.
True.
Which that was another one where it was kind of like super predictable to me of, oh, okay, you beat the guy earlier on, you saved his life. Mm-hmm. Now that you're obviously going to lose to Michael B. Jordan, who's going to save you but the clan that doesn't live here? And like,
But then I think people would have argued that would have felt forced, because then it's not a Black Panther film. It's like his Avenger friends aiding him.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying.
No, I get what you're saying.
Felt very
for
obvious.
Sure. But that's interesting at that.
But did people complain with that for Spider-Man? Because that has Tony Stark in it.
No, not that I know of. I mean, I almost think that like Tony Stark's character with Spider-Man helped kind of draw more interest into Spider-Man again.
I would say it was also probably people knew that going.
That's a good point to bring up too. Is like, what's Peter Parker now without Spider-Man? I mean, his suit was designed by Spider-Man. It's not like he did it all.
Tony Stark.
Yeah. Sorry, I did say
Well, we know he has a different...
Tony Stark.
From the Infinity War trailer, he's wearing a different suit again.
Right. But is that also designed by Stark, or no?
Probably. Because he's got the
Iron Spider,
original one back.
Yeah.
No, he didn't take the Iron Spider suit.
Which one does he have in the Infinity War? Forgive me.
I don't
remember. But anyway, another interesting thing about seeing Bucky is there's another Easter egg.
He's missing his arm.
Well, there's a
Which
line
is always going to get a vibranium one.
Yeah, there's a line that Shuri says like, "Oh, it's another white boy to fix." And that was
America, the first one,
right? And then also Bucky at the end of Civil War. Mm-hmm. But then they reference him in the post-credit scene as the white wolf, and that's another throwback to comics where like the White Wolf becomes adopted as like Black Panther's brother in some sense. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, makes you wonder.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Not to mention that Black Panther also marries Storm. So now that...
I guess technically now that can happen.
So now that, Fox, something... I don't know if
they're Mary Storm.
Yeah,
I didn't know
in
that.
the comics. Yeah,
I don't know.
Just because they're both black.
Whoa, racist.
Yeah, probably.
No, I don't know, but
Probably.
But I think that's one thing that's really cool is like I wonder where they're gonna go with this. But that's hard to wonder with the sequel to Black Panther. The second one.
Are they doing a sequel?
Yeah, oh yeah. They hope to have the same director back because he's killing it. Ryan Coogler.
Let's see, and that's where we go back to this whole idea of.
But I
want them just to end this iteration of the MCU after Infinity War Part 2.
I don't think they will though.
But I don't think they will.
I thought they said they were.
I get what you're saying. So
I think they're going to do a farewell for a lot of characters.
Yeah, you know what?
Like Tony Stark.
I agree with what you're saying. Captain America, Tony Stark potentially. But yeah, because I think Chris Hemsworth only had that last Infinity War on his deal. But beyond that, I don't know. Like I get what you're saying about ending it, but then
I mean, or if you don't
the next
end it,
phase after that would be
you cannot bring back other people like you did with Rhodey, where you changed an actor and pretended like it's the same. We can't do that with. This is Tony Stark. I know it's not Robert Downey Jr., but it's Tony Stark.
They did talk about doing that though.
But I
they would
James Bond it.
Yeah, they would make Iron Man like a James Bond, where they would recast him every.
I've
few
never
movies
seen. To me, I've never looked at Bond and gone, "This is one congruent story." This is Bond's story. This is a different Bond story. This is like they're separate.
They're all singular stories.
And so the second you start doing that, I'm gonna say no. This is not the same timeline anymore because.
Well, here's the thing, and I absolutely agree with what you're saying. My guess is that obviously, spoiler alert, not really, but certain Avengers are going to die in Infinity War. So then after that, you're going to have certain ones that live. My guess would be Black Panther because you're going to probably carry on with number 2 trilogy. And then to that, Ant-Man. Also, Spider-Man. They just started a new Spider-Man, so they're going to have to drag that out. And then, Bucky, whoever else lives. Probably Bucky, maybe.
Because you know how that works.
And then Captain Marvel.
There's rumors of a Black Widow standalone fight, like that's supposedly confirmed, I think, by Chris Evans or something like that.
Yeah, they are finally talking about maybe doing that. So it'll be interesting to see where they go after.
But I mean, you could even throw Vision in there, Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, you could, but my guess is we in the trailer we see Vision have his
very human, and then
he gets his stone ripped out of him.
I think that kills him though.
I wonder.
You don't think it kills him? That's what literally
it has to
created
at least limit his power.
I was gonna say that's what
limits
creates
his power, but I don't think it kills him.
I guess we could go with.
I don't know.
Since his body was partially vibranium, it's now taken the stone's power and kept him alive as a result. There we go. Vibranium does whatever we want it to do, is what I think we learned.
Yeah.
No, it's true. We really don't. There was no clear definition about.
I kind of like that they didn't give us a clear definition because I think it leaves it real open to play with.
It does.
So
that's what I like most is it gives you so many possibilities, but at the same time, makes you wonder. So. And then what's with all these metals? Vibranium, adamantium.
Well, adamantium
they're supposed to be the same thing, aren't they?
No, I thought adamantium was the scientific.
Or they tried to recreate.
Yeah, recreation of vibranium.
I think that's.
Oh, so it's like the lab grown version, almost, as opposed to the organic.
Yeah, so it's not supposed to be as strong.
Interesting.
Unobtainium.
Unobtainium, dude. Imagine if Wolverine had vibranium claws.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be much different, personally.
Would he die? Would it poison him?
I mean, they're
probably not.
As we see from Logan, he's getting poisoned anyway. So
that's what he was saying. What the vibranium have?
Yeah,
since that's
as opposed to adamantium. Yeah,
it's still.
I'm gonna have to say no. I don't think it would.
Yeah, because why not? They're weaving in their clothing. That doesn't affect them at all.
Well, I was gonna go with Vision, who's partially made out of it.
True.
Because I don't think clothing has anything to do with it.
No, I don't know. But if you're exposed to it, I don't know.
Vibranium is just natural.
So I have a question. Does
cutting from here though?
Does cutting Wolverine's head off kill him?
I don't think everybody's done that.
No.
And no.
He doesn't.
No. It's like Deadpool. Deadpool had his head cut off and he regrew head.
They're different. Deadpool's regeneration is a lot more powerful than.
Well, but why would?
Yeah, but they both have that same power to regenerate.
Why would it kill him?
Well, I know. For instance, we never actually see Wolverine.
How do you kill Deadpool?
We never see Wolverine grow limbs back, and we do Deadpool. Because
We've never seen him lose a limb
because of his or adamantium.
Yeah. But
I'm sure he could.
I just read Deadpool versus the Marvel Universe where he kills all of them, and he kills Wolverine by cutting his head off.
He
kills Wolverine by cutting his head off?
Destroyed him to like a level where he started.
No, I found out that was his daughter, and one other person was regeneration.
Bro, you want to know something crazy? They did a comic where the Hulk has adamantium, like Wolverine, in his claws. How do you kill that thing?
The Hulk is invincible.
You don't. You just planet hop and just try and avoid him. Yeah, you just avoid.
Oh, jeez.
Just avoid that fucker.
But we should wrap up.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd wrap up.
Any last thoughts?
Last complaint. I didn't like Killmonger as a name.
No, but that's a comic name. No. How did he get that name? That wasn't his original name. But then he developed that through all of
They just said,
his
went
military
by the code
training
name Killmonger
because he was collecting kills and getting all scarred up.
I'm not really a big fan of the name Ryan.
Well, that's fine. You're not named it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
why did you bring that up?
Because his name's Ryan.
Always with the personal attacks.
Yeah, man. What the hell?
I'm
just
really,
supposed to be a friendly.
I'm just
safe
sour
space.
towards RJ today because he got a really good Pokemon. And
100% ground.
Your fault, sir.
For having a job.
I have a job too, and yet I was able to go do it.
My job is not as flexible as your job.
You could be as flexible as you want to be. All right. One last note. I saw Bright. I finally saw Bright. I actually liked it way more than I think both of you guys did.
I think I like.
I'm excited for the sequel, bro.
So am I.
Woo!
Also, see Game Night.
Oh, I saw Annihilation.
How was that?
It's interesting.
Man.
Yeah, it's based on a book trilogy.
I don't know that.
Justice League sucked.
Those are our new
things
movies
we already knew.
All right. Next week we got a treat for you. Something new.
Something
in honor of the
coming up.
Oscars.
Yes. Yeah.
Which of course the Oscars will air before we do.
Do they?
Wait. Was this my idea?
The Oscars are
thing
on
that I came up with, or what are we doing?
It's that Sunday.
Okay, so this is, if you like it was my genius.
It was
behind
not
this
your
idea.
idea, actually.
If
Was
you
it his
don't
idea?
like it, it was RJ's idea.
I'm pretty sure it was my idea.
No, this is my idea.
Nah.
Bye.
I think it was my idea.